Hi, my name is Noel and I've worked with West LA Music for over 16 years. I've been a professional recording engineer for 26 years. I've been a professional musician for even longer than that. Piano is my main instrument, and I love recording. And I'm very excited about selling high quality gear. And as you can see, I'm sitting here in my own home studio, and I have quite a wide array of tasty audio toys. Down here I have one of my absolutely favorite pieces, which is the PreSonus ADL600. And just to show you a little bit of the company that this piece is keeping, I've got a really fantastic tube preamp from Demeter Amplification. I've got a very high-end preamp from DBX, the 786 Blue Series. I've got up here an AMEC 9098 that was designed by Rupert Neve. Fantastic preamp, fantastic EQ, really high-end analog audio master clock. I've got some Focusrite gear, cedar de-hissing for restoration work. I've got a couple of Aphex compellers, very high-end clean power, still some vintage DAT machines, Alesis Masterlink. And the reason I'm pointing out these other pieces of gear is because these are all really high-quality, great-sounding pieces of gear. The preamplifier that is my go-to piece that I use more often than any of the other ones is the PreSonus ADL600. Now I want to talk a little bit about this piece because it's a really fantastic multi-level piece of gear. And what I mean by multi-level is that it can be used in a wide variety of applications. There are three primary applications that you can utilize this preamp. Number one, you can use it as a preamp. Okay? Number two, you can use it as a DI. In other words, you can take your instrument, whether it's a bass or a guitar or keyboards, and you can plug them directly to the instrument inputs in the front of it. And then the third reason that you can use this, and I use it quite a bit as this function as well, is that it's a phenomenal tube line driver. It's got XLR inputs in the back for line level. It's got XLR outputs on the back for line level. It's also got XLR inputs on the back for your mic, as well as your mic output levels. This piece has 8 tubes inside, 4 per channel. And the sound quality not only has that incredible tube warmth to it, but it is incredibly present, wide open, and crystal clear. So some pieces that have an overabundance of tubes can sometimes sound a little bit too warm and woolly for a lot of applications. And I use this piece in a huge variety. I do a ton of classical recording where I use this piece. Classical piano, classical violin, classical flute, all the instruments, full orchestra. I also use it in rock and roll. Use it as a vocal preamp, use it as a bass preamp, use it as a guitar preamp, use it as guitar DI, bass DI. All my keyboard work that I do, I run through the ADL600 directly into Pro Tools. And sonically, it's wide open, it's airy, it's smooth, it's transparent. It has on it the ability to select whether you want the instrument input, the line level input, and then it's got 4 separate impedance selectors on there. The reason that being able to select separate impedance is so important is because by selecting the exact impedance to properly match your microphone, you can get the best current transfer, and you'll get the most volume essentially out of that microphone. But another thing that's great about it is you can also creatively mismatch the impedance. By creatively mismatching the impedance, you can change the tonal balance and spectral color of that microphone. So by taking one microphone and plugging it into this preamp and selecting the different impedance positions, you can dramatically change the tonal quality of that microphone. So there's a huge amount of flexibility. It's a stereo unit or it's a dual mono unit. So you can also run a guitar in here, you can run a bass in here, and have completely different settings on each channel. Just to go over the other features, it also has a polarity reverse on each channel. That changes the phase of the microphone. If you want to mic the top of the snare and the bottom of the snare, you need to throw the bottom of the snare out of phase. Also, if you realize in the middle of a session that somehow the wiring is out of phase, then you can flip this switch and you can instantly correct that. Another great feature, 20 dB pad. If you've got something that's super loud, you can always use the 20 dB pad. You've also got a high-pass filter. And the high-pass filter, you can dial in which frequency it's passing all of the high frequencies over. That's great if you want to be able to take out any kind of low-frequency rumble or other information that you know you're not going to record and you just don't even want it in your mix in the first place. It gives you a tremendous amount of clarity. It makes your mix sound better overall when it's done. The best thing about this preamp is that it is incredibly reasonably priced. It's very, very rare that you can get a preamp of this quality that has this number of features at this price point. And I have had not only myself, but so many customers who have purchased this preamp from me compare it to other preamps in all price ranges, some 2-3 times the price of this guy, and said that this is one of the best preamps they've ever heard. That's a really, really major feature of this thing. Another thing that's really cool, it also has VU meters as well as digital peak program meters. So you can see the instantaneous peaks of your signal that's going into it, and you have the old-fashioned VU meters so that you can see the average level of what you're recording. Those are the meters that actually meter like your ears hear. So I'm happy to do this video because I'm so happy with this piece. I've used it for over 2 years now, and it's one of the tastiest feature-filled mic pre's that I've ever had in my studio. I'm really grateful to have it, and I think it's a fantastic piece. PruSonus, you've done a fantastic job with this. Thanks.